So we're here today with Mr. James Pitts Sr. We're at Mr. Pitts' property at 16240 Rollins Fork Road in King George, Virginia. We're just a few miles from where Mr. Pitts was born. With us today is our intern from the University of Mary Washington, Janelle Beam. Janelle's a senior at Mary Washington, and she's working with us, helping edit and do video work and work on our website. So to get started, Mr. Pitts, I want to ask you a couple of things about where you were born and your early childhood years. Tell me a little bit about where you were born and what it was like.
When I was born,
Yes, sir.
well, one thing, we didn't have no hospital, so we were all born at home. And and I think we did have what they call a midwife. And so, yeah,
And if you want to refer to your notes, I'm happy with that. I want you to use that so that we get those things that you've prepared.
okay. All right, read this, get my name and everything.
Yes, sir.
Okay. My name is James Evans Pitts Sr. I was born at home February 27, 1921 on Bristol Mine Farm, located at the extreme southwest corner of Westmoreland County, Virginia, in the Washington District. Our farm was bounded by the Rappahannock River on the south and the King George County on the west. I was the youngest of 5 brothers and 1 sister. The oldest brother was born in 1898, and all of us were born at home. All are deceased except me. I am now 97.
The farm that you were born on, that was your dad's place?
Yeah, but it was a small farm,
How big?
maybe 15 acres.
What did he grow?
We grew corn and peas and hay and a big garden.
And a big garden.
Yeah.
Was that big garden as much for you guys, your food as a family, as it was for selling?
Well, yeah. We didn't sell nothing.
I got you.
We only raised enough for the feed. We had 1 horse and 1 cow, and 2 pigs, and about a couple dozen hens, and have about a dozen of turkeys. All right. Now, my mother, of course, we couldn't raise sugar or coffee or tea, so she would save the eggs up for a day or two and take them to the store and trade them off for sugar, coffee, and tea. And eggs at that time was 18 cents a dozen. So then the hams, we never, and we were selling over 8 an egg because it was money, a little bit. And the hams off the country hams off the hogs, we'd take them to Colonial Beach and sell them to the hotel for 20 cents a pound, something like that. And we never ever ate no country ham. We ate shoulders and ribs and all that stuff. But, so, and we had 1 horse. I don't say nothing. So And we formed, I guess, I was behind the horse and plow when I was 9 years old, probably. And we had to plow the land and get it ready. We had to start in February, start the plowing because we only plowed one plow that wide. And then after we got it plowed, the land was set for a while. We wanted to plant corn about the middle of April. So then we had to hire the land over. We didn't have no disc or nothing. We had to hire the land over in, 2 times. And then we planted with a single row planter. That planter, first before we planted, we had what they call a marker. 1 horse pulled that. The corn rows was 42 inches apart, so that marker would make a groove like that. And you go up to the end of the field and turn around. When you come back, you kept one of them things in the groove, and that kept you parallel across the field. All right. So but we only could plant 1 row at a time, and the planter we were using, we only needed 1 kernel, and it would plant about 4 or 5, and we had to go back and thin
Sure.
it down.
And once they come up a little bit, go back through and thin them down to 1 plant.
Yeah, right. And so that's about the way we did the corn. And the peas, I don't know ain't much about the peas, but I must have broadcast them because we didn't have no drills to drill them.
Would these be like black-eyed peas, field peas?
They call them gray peas, I don't know.
Gray peas, not like a little green split pea, but a field pea.
Yeah. These they used to eat them, you know. They used to take them and beat the holes off.
Okay.
I had some ants that would. They had poles about 8 foot long, and they had a porch, and they put down a sheet and put them pea holes, the vines, and all on top of it, and boom, boom, and knocked the holes off the peas. And then they had to wait till a good northwest wind. They'd take it out in the field there and put a sheet down and let it go out slowly, and the wind would take the trash off.
Sure, and leave you the peas.
Yeah.
What other kind of chores? Now, you had brothers and sisters who were older than you, brothers and a sister that were older than you. What other kind of chores did the young people help with around the farm?
Well, I think at times they all did their share, you know.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause if we had them all at one time, we couldn't have fed them. but
Oh, good thing they were spread out in age.
a lot of them went to Washington and got jobs. But another thing, in 1929, when the stock market fell,
Yes, sir.
people tell me that people in New York City was jumping out the windows and killing themselves because they had lost so much, lost all their money.
Yes, sir.
And we never knew that anything went on because we were right at the bottom of the barrel. We had nothing to lose. So
Depression didn't change much, is what you're telling
didn't
me.
even know it happened.
Still working.
Yeah, still grinding on to it.
Something when you started talking, I want to make sure that I get. Tell me your parents' names.
My daddy's name was Richard Coleman Pitts Sr. And my mother was Josephine Rogers Pitts.
Very good. Was Rogers her maiden name?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Early boyhood memories. Now look, you're growing up on the farm there in the 1920s, late 20s, early 30s. Your farm's on the edge of the river, the Rappahannock River.
Yeah.
You ever go fishing when you were a boy?
Yeah. We were fishing when we were 10 years old, maybe. But we never had a rod and reel. We only had a hand line. I didn't get a rod and reel until I was 21 already. Man, we were poor, you know, no kidding. But and that farm was just a lifesaver, you know. We raised enough for our own selves. And then we'd take the milk to make the butter. We had to let the milk set, I don't know, at least overnight or maybe more. Cream would rise to the top. All right. So we take after we get enough cream, we put it in a half-a-gallon jar and would rock it back and forth across our knee, and it would turn to butter. So I mean, it's not.
So that's how you churned it. You didn't have a stick churn. You
Well,
rolled it on your knee.
We didn't have one of them, but later on we had a crank on,
Okay.
you know, a Patterson.
Okay.
But in the beginning, I tell you. Now that story that I wrote to Edel, I wrote that story, but he put it in the paper. I had all that stuff in there.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a copy of the story that he wrote about you.
Yeah.
That'll be in our archives as well.
Yeah. Well,
So,
how about too much time if I read it now?
oh no, sir, that's fine.
This is a little story that I wrote when I was about 11 years old. Okay. The title of the story is Steamboats on the Potomac River and Shops on the Boardwalk of Columbia Beach, and the original Route 3 from Rollins Fork to Oak Grove and to 205 from Oak Grove to Columbia Beach. All this happened in the mid-1930s. One Friday morning I got up and had my usual salt fish and cornbread for breakfast. After breakfast I decided I would like to go to Columbia Beach and see the steamboat come down the Potomac River from Washington, D.C. and bring people down to Columbia Beach for the weekend. I was told that the steamboat would get down to the town pier about 4 o'clock. So after breakfast, I asked my mother if it'd be all right for me to go to Columbia Beach to see the steamboat come in on the Potomac River. She said, I know you love steamboats, so I think it will be all right as long as you get the job done around the house before you go. So I milked and fed the cow first, and then I fed the horse, fed the pig, chickens, and turkeys. I then split some wood and carried it in to put it in the wood box so she would have some wood to fry the saltfish the next morning. After I finished the jobs for the morning, I found a big washing tub and put it out at the back of the house and behind a big locust tree where the sun would shine on it for about 3 hours. I also took a bucket and carried water from the well and poured it into the tub until it was a little over half full. After the water got warm, I carried out a towel, soap, and washcloth and began to bathing. After I finished bathing, I dried off with a towel. I wrapped the towel around my body and ran back into the house. After that, I asked my mother if she had clean white clothes. She said to look in the bottom drawer of the bureau. There is a pair of knickers, a white short sleeve shirt, and white socks. There is a pair of white tennis shoes under the bed. Thanks, Mom. I put on the white knickers. They came down below my knees and they had little ruffles around the bottom. This thing ain't doing right. Just hanging out.
We'll get there. I want to hear about this day going to Colonial Beach, all dressed up, ready to go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then they came down just below my knee and had a little ruffle around the bottom. Then I was ready to leave the house, so I asked my mother if she had any change left over from the eggs she took to the store after she traded the eggs for sugar, coffee, and tea. Because the eggs were 18 cents a dozen, I thought you might have some change left over that you might let me have. I will let you have a nickel if you're careful not to spend it at all one time. I will be careful. I walked about 3 miles to left down to the store. That's right down here. Now, I'm walking from Bristol Mines out to Route 3.
Yes, sir.
And I walked 3 miles west down to the country store and post office. I got to the store about 2:30 because I needed to get to the town pier at Colonial Beach at 4 o'clock to see the steamboat come down Potomac River. So I waited at the store for about 10 minutes. I had several friends that had horses and buggies. Some had automobiles. I saw one of my friends coming down the road with a 1931 Ford Coupe. It was painted a canary yellow with a rumble seat near the back where the trunk should be and a spare tire near the bumper with a chrome cover over the tire. Also, it had chrome headlights. He stopped at the post office to get his mail. So he walked over to me and said, "Son, you are dressed up mighty good. Where are you going?" So I said, "To catch a ride to Colonial Beach town pier so I could see the steamboat come down the Potomac River." So he said, "Well, I need to go to the Bank of Westmoreland," that was at Colonial Beach, "to talk to Mr. Williams about a loan. So you can ride with me." Okay. "But I need to catch a ride back home, too. I need to leave Colonial Beach about 10 o'clock, so you might have to wait a long time." "I think that's okay. I will talk to Mr. Williams at the bank. Then I'll go up on Washington Avenue and go to the Mayfair Theater to watch the cartoons and hope there will be a Western movie on after that. I will meet you at the Fox Bingo at the entrance of Joyland." So we started down toward the Oak Grove on the original Route 3. It was narrow road from the post office. We went about a half a mile down old Route 3 and took a right on now 634 Claymont Road. We went on that road for about 3 miles. It was very narrow and crooked. After we crossed the bridge, we went a little further, and then we passed Oak Grove High School, which was on the left. The school was a wooden structure with wooden weatherboard on the outside. How we arrived at Oak Grove. From Oak Grove to Colonial Beach, we took the following road. We started on now 205 for a short way, and then we turned right on now 638 and Ferry Road. We went about a mile and came out on 205 at Mattis Creek Bridge. From there, we went about 1 mile and turned right onto now 628 Stony Knoll Road. We went around Morris Corner and came back on Route 205 at the Adler Service Center. From there, we took 205 about a quarter mile. We turned left on our Route 632 Monroe Church Road. We went up on that for about a mile and came back out on 205. We came out on the left hand of the Union Bank at the beach, and we were at the beach gate. Then we took Colonial Avenue. That was the main one going into the beach until we got to the boardwalk. We crossed the boardwalk and drove all the way to the town pier in front of the boardwalk. I got out my car. My friend left to tend to his business. He said he would meet me at Fox's Bingo about 10 o'clock. So I sat on a bench near the town pier so I could get a good look at the steamboats coming down the Potomac River. Finally I saw it coming. It docked at the end of the pier. The gangplank was put down so that people could walk from the steamboat onto the pier. A group of people got off and headed for Walcott Hotel. The hotel had a large front porch with a lot of steps. They would stay there until Sunday evening. Then the steamboat would come back from Washington to take them back home. The Potomac steamboat had a walking beam that went up and down the whole time the boat was moving. I asked several people on the boardwalk what the purpose of the walking beam was. No one could answer my questions. So from that to this, I still don't know what the walking beam was for. After the steamboat left, I walked up the boardwalk to Colonial Avenue, and then I started to walk back down the boardwalk, following the shops that I observed on the way back down. Major operation. Come on, thing.
Let me help you with that. Hang on.
There you go. First was the first place on the boardwalk from Colonial Avenue was the Palm Garden that was on the corner of Boardwalk and Colonial Avenue. Next were the bowling alley and the popcorn stand. Up on the second floor was the roller skating rink with wooden floor, which made a lot of noise. Next I remember was Joyland. It was several in that area that I don't remember. Fox's Bingo was at the entrance of Joyland. Joyland was a place where big bands would play on weekends. It also had an open-air dance floor where you could dance under the moon and stars. The next place on the boardwalk was Charlie's Hot Dog Stand. Next was the Davis Shooting Gallery, where you could check your skill out in knocking over imitation ducks. I'm not sure, but the next place was the Bathhouse. And the next place was Free's Restaurant, then Ms. Stone's Snowball Stand. That's where I spent my whole nickel for a snowball. After Ms. Stone retired, a lady named Millie took over the business. Then the next place was Walcott's Hotel. It was getting late, so I went back up the boardwalk to Fox's Bingo, where I met my friend to take me back home. We came back on the same old road that we went over on. My friend put me out at Ruby Lane, which was next to Rollins Fork Post Office. I thanked him very much for the ride, and then he went home. I walked down Ruby Lane and crossed over Swamp, which was a boundary line between King George County and Westmoreland County. Then I walked on a narrow path through the woods that came out on Bristol Mine Road that took me to my home at Bristol Mine Farm. This is only one trip of many that I made to Colonial Beach in the early 1930s, 40s, and 50s. This story is true. I made the trip myself. I wrote it myself. Any comments? Call me.
Any comments? I got a million. I got a million questions. All right, here's the first thing. I need that copy. Can I have that copy?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's going to make it easy for us when we transcribe your interview
Yeah.
to have the place names and that kind of thing. If need be, I'll mail it back to you. I'll take it back to my office and make copies.
I got some extra ones. I don't know.
Okay.
I've given away a lot of them. You know.
Well, it would help us to have this story if I had a copy.
Okay.
All right, let you get straight with that, then I got some questions.
All right. Where's the pages again? There's 4 pages of it.
Yep, that's it.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's first. Well, it starts off at the 5th. So this is 6. Seventh, 8th,
Perfect. All right, I'll take care of that. Thanks, Mr. Pitt. That's a fascinating story. All right, how old were you when that day?
About 11.
About 11 years old.
Yeah.
Um,
See, going to Columbia Beach back then was like going to New York City now. You know, that's the nearest town we had.
Sure.
And Columbia Beach is about
Shooting
10 miles.
gallery and a bingo, and you could go dancing.
Yeah, but now they tore all that stuff away.
Is that right?
Yeah, tell me it's nothing on the front no more. And
Before I come back to your interest in steamboats, I'm going to ask you a few more questions about fishing on the river. Because, we're from Friends of the Rappahannock. And I got a lot of interest about the things that you were talking about. Such as, you got up for breakfast that morning, and you said you had some salt fish and cornbread.
had best saltfish we started that.
Salt fish. What is a salt fish? Is that a herring?
It's a herring, but it's two type of herons. One's a branch heron, which is a little bit bigger. They come earlier in the spring, and they go up in the swamps, and that's what they dip. Now, but the glut heron is the main heron.
And what did you call that? A glut heron?
Glut heron.
G-L-U-T.
They are smaller, and they're blue on the back, and they take salt better because you don't have much bait.
That's called a blueback herring, I think. Now, why do you call them a glut herring?
You got me.
Glut, G-L-U-T.
Glut, yeah.
All right.
That's what
And
all
the other was a branch herring. Is that because, like, we would refer to a creek as a branch?
Yeah.
And he'd run up the creek, so that's running up the branch.
That's where they go spawn, yeah.
Absolutely. Now, salt herring, salt fish. Did you help catch these fish?
Yes, sir. I used to go with my dad, and he fished too. He caught the herring. I used to go with them, and man, that was fun.
So we're talking early spring, April.
Yeah, April, May, maybe.
Maybe into May?
Now the glut heron didn't come along till about 2 weeks after the branch heron.
Okay.
So my daddy, they ain't fools catching branch heron. He'd wait for the other, and we caught him with a drift net.
A drift net setting in the main river.
Yes.
At the mouth of a creek, that kind of place?
No, it goes with the tide. Let me tell you something about tide.
Yes, sir.
Maybe you know what the tide is. If somebody says tide, do you know what they're talking
Sure,
about?
I know when the water rises and falls.
Yeah, it's movement of the river water flooding it.
Yes, sir.
And at this location, the tide runs up 5 hours and runs out 7 hours
Okay.
every day. It makes a complete cycle every 12 hours.
Yes, sir.
All right, now, this drift net, there's only certain places in the river you could fish them because you didn't want to hang them there or tear them up.
Okay.
And then
Tear your net up.
Huh?
Right, it would tear your net up.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Right, I'm listening.
And that's a mesh that's, I think, about 2 1/4 inch stretched
Okay.
from knot to knot, stretched.
Okay.
And, all right, you go catch them. Sometimes we catch maybe 300 or 400. And then again, you might catch 5 or 6,
Okay.
It just depends on what was going on with fishing.
Sure.
All right, now, when we got caught 300 or 400, that was almost a terrible task to scale. All right, the way we take it, I still got that basket, bigger than a bushel basket, a wall basket,
Yes, sir.
All right, we'd take it and set it on the sand shoal, take the paddle, throw some sand over in there, and take our boots like that and go up and down like that. And that would get off about 90% of the scale.
So I've got the basket sitting on the bank, on the sand bank.
On the sand shore, yeah.
Right. All right. And I'm gonna put some sand in my basket.
Yeah.
This is a mesh basket.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna put some herring in there, and then run my foot and my boot along the outside to rub that mesh wire up against their scales.
You take your foot and go all the way around the bass, make sure you got much as good on.
And it would help scale all them fish.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And, it was maybe 10% left on them, but
All right. Did you still have to come back behind that and scrape them a little bit more?
no.
You'd eat that.
Yeah. All right. Then we had about 7 vats. It's something like a half a whiskey barrel,
Okay.
But bigger. That big, I reckon.
Okay.
All right, my dad had them filled up with water. All right, he put them herring in the. First thing we had to add salt to that water, and how we could tell if we had enough salt is when it would float an egg. If you make it a brine,
Yes, sir.
when it floats an egg, it's enough salt. And
Okay. Now that's pretty
you
cool.
probably not gonna make no brine, but
I've made some brine to smoke fish like salmon,
yeah.
but we didn't have to make it that strong.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, now let's see what we scale them, and all right, he got the thing full of water, and then he's got the water all salted up. Now he's gonna dump the herring over now.
Okay.
All right, leave him out. I believe it was 7 or 9 days, but I think it was 7 days. All right, then he said he thinks they were struck, which I guess meant that the salt had penetrated them.
And when you say that word again, they were struck.
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 S-T-R-U-C-K.
S-T-R-U-C-K. Okay,
I mean,
struck. That means they're ready.
Might said, but back then they all had some kind of
I understand.
nickname for everything.
But I want to make sure I spell it right when we get your record because I want it right.
Yeah. And so they're staying there for, I believe, 7 days. Then he said they were ready to come out. They already struck. So, and then we would. But it was a steep hill that where we lived at. You barely could walk up it really. And we'd have to take. People would come out. My dad would sell them 2 cents a piece. And people would come and buy them by the hundreds, to put up for the winter. And so they were ready to be. Some people used to put them in a barrel, a lot of people put them in a log tin.
Okay.
And so when you put them in there, you had to put them in with the bellies up, maybe. I guess with the bellies up, maybe salt would. No, it wasn't the back was up. I remember. And but you place them in it. You put them straight up and down like this. All right, and then you keep on going back and forth across till you get across and you get a layer. All right. Then you put another layer of salt on top of that. And then you do another layer, another salt on top of that. Just make sure you get enough salt.
Did you have to gut them and cut the heads off?
No, not until we went to eat them.
So salted them when you put them up to preserve them.
Yeah.
That was the whole fish.
Yeah.
Roger that. Okay.
And last time I priced salt fish, it was $6 a pound or something.
And your dad sold them for
Yeah.
how much? 2 cents a piece?
2 cents a piece. And we had to lug them up a hill. We had to put a raincoat on because that stuff was running all down your neck. Put a raincoat on, so it would.
The brine.
Yeah, the brine. You couldn't get it all out.
Right.
Just
Okay.
like wringing it up washcloth. No.
All right. So you line these fish up. You do them in layers. You salt your fish down, and this is in April and May.
Yeah.
And those fish would keep all year till next April or May.
Some people could, just about depending on how good they got the salt in them.
Was that you said when you got ready to go to Colonial Beach that morning that you got up and had some salt fish and cornbread, and this was in the summertime.
Oh yeah,
So was that a standard? That was a regular breakfast for you?
Sometimes they're done in supper too. No,
Gotcha.
3 days a week, you take it or leave it.
I'm with you. Okay. Now, do you go get salt fish now? Do you ever go eat them? Like as far as going to a restaurant?
No, you can't.
And order them.
You can't buy them.
Can't get them.
No, they got a moratorium on herring and shad.
And I'm right. So I'm a little familiar with
Only
that.
one can get them is the Indians.
Interesting. Okay. So thinking about shad ran the same time, and historically the colonials, the settlers, they would catch shad. Then we got the big American shad. We got the smaller hickory shad.
Yeah.
Now, did y'all do anything with those? Did you catch any shad and keep them?
Yeah.
And put them up for food?
No, it was shipped in Baltimore.
Shipped them to Baltimore. Tell me about that.
Okay, we had a drift net, I believe, about 175 yards long.
I need to know exactly what a drift net is.
A drift net is a webbing. The webbing was probably 20 feet deep, And
So 20 foot tall.
yeah, and a top line on it with corks on.
Yes, sir. And is that because it drifted?
Huh?
Did you tie it down? Did you stake it down?
Oh no, it drifts. See, it's a drift.
That's what I want to understand. It's a drift net. So you would stretch that out across the river
Yeah, it drifts the tide. But
and let her go.
It's a secret to it that you couldn't just take and put it out there. You had to put it out there when the tide was right.
Well, when is the tide right?
Well, I know this is getting complicated, but it's certainly true. on the river shore, you know, a lot of places the sand is not doesn't have much of a degree of it. You know, it's fairly level.
Okay.
All right. If it was ebb tide and I wanted to lay out to catch slack water is when it stops.
Before it starts to go out or come in.
Well, no, the tide is still going out.
Okay, got you.
All right. We took a little stick, you know, and pushed it right at the edge of the water. All right. Now the water was still going out, but it would rise on the shore.
Okay.
So when that tide would start rising here, you could more like tell it was going to be about 45 minutes an hour before it's going to slack. And so that's when you lay out roughly.
Gotcha. And you get your drift net laid out, and then after that slack tide, after that ebb tide,
Yeah,
then what's the tide going to do then?
I'm going to take it up.
But does the tide start going out or does the tide start coming in
No,
after your ebb
it's
tide?
been going out, now it's coming back in. So
All right. Do you fish that you leave it out there for the whole incoming tide?
No.
No.
Well, a lot of times the net would, the tide change it would bundle up together and
Okay.
get all tangled up.
Okay.
But the claim slack water was really what you're looking for, that the fish came up all
Interesting. Good. Okay. So you really did fish the ebb tide.
The bottom.
You fished the slack tide, the ebb
Yeah?
tide.
Yeah.
Got it. All right. So
Now we did the same thing on flood tide, you know.
gotcha. Flood tide meaning the tide coming in.
Yes, 5 hours.
All right.
Yeah.
So you are now after shad. Are you catching American shad, or hickory shad, or both?
Bucket shad.
The big ones.
Yes, sir, 5 pounds of them. They were about this long and about that thick.
You know, we hardly have any in the river today.
No, well, you can't catch them if you had.
Right, I understand. But there were enough of them in the 1930s. You were catching these fish and doing something with them, send them to Baltimore?
Yeah. All right, we'd fish, go down and fish practically all day. Sometimes the net would get so tangled up we had to go to shore and clean them. You know
Sure.
catfish get in there and tie that knot up so you couldn't hardly get him out.
Right.
But, yeah, and see, when I was working, I was still doing drift netting, sort of. And we had to go down there and fish after work and take them to Columbia Beach or catch a freight truck going to Baltimore.
This would have been in the 1950s?
Yeah, 50s and 60s.
Okay.
Yeah, more or less.
Still enough fish then. There was still enough shad coming up
Yeah.
to make it worth your while.
Some years you could lay it down there and you might catch one or two, something like that.
Okay.
And then other times you'd catch, you could catch maybe 50, 60 at a time. Now I had a bigger mash net. That was 5 1/4 inch net.
5 1/4. All right. So did you have to preserve those fish, the big shad, the American shad? Did you have to salt them down or anything?
No, we had to get over to Columbia Beach and get at the ice house over there.
Okay, and ice them down.
And a guy over there would grind up the ice. They used to make ice over there.
Okay, so I got an American shad and I'm in Baltimore. Was this going to a restaurant?
No, it's going to a commission merchant. He sells them for you and takes us what he wants and send you the rest.
Commission merchant.
Commission, yeah.
Commission merchant would sell the fish. Who did he sell them to?
E.W. Lab was one of them. I can't think of the rest of them.
E.W. Lab?
Yeah, L-A-B-B-E, E.W. Lab.
And they were a restaurant? I'm wondering who's using the fish.
Yeah, the commission merchant, Well, he'd sell them to restaurants or whatever, whoever
Gotcha.
wants them, you know.
Okay.
And then he'd take the commission. I don't know what it was.
So let me ask you this. I've known a lot of people that's tried to figure out a way to eat a shad. And we've tried smoking them, and they have shad plankings.
Yeah.
Do you eat shad? Did you like shad? Would you eat it?
Yeah, I eat fried.
Big shad, like an American shad.
Yeah.
Fillet it out,
Yeah, fillet it and maybe cut some gashes across it.
so cut, score the bones. Okay.
But we didn't eat many, you know. Maybe a buck shad.
That's the small. A buck shad is what I call a hickory shad. Is that right?
No.
The male then is
That's
the buck.
male, yeah.
The male is the buck.
When they spawn and he has white serum, or we want to call
Right.
it, comes out of his rear,
Yeah.
and the other one has a roe.
Right.
He's a roe shad.
So with the buck shad a little smaller, easier to cook?
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I don't think cooking was a problem, but
Interesting. Okay, I got to try that.
Man,
Okay. Now,
so many things.
sure, I understand. There's a lot of good stories. How did you continue to fish commercially like that through the '60s? How late did you continue fishing?
Well, let's see. I don't know. I guess it was about 65, close to 70 probably.
Okay.
I retired in 76.
And I want to ask you real quickly. You worked at Dahlgren at
Yes.
the naval base,
Yes,
and how long did you work there?
34 years and 4 months.
From 1942 to 76.
January 6, 1942 to April or May. What's the fourth month?
April.
April the 13th of it. It's
All
on
right.
Friday.
In 76. So you worked there 30 some years.
Yeah.
What did you do at Dahlgren?
I worked in machine shop.
Building things,
Yes, and making.
turning metal.
Well, when I went there, I was hired as a classified labor because I had no experience
Gotcha.
in nothing.
Okay.
But walking behind a horse. And so, classified labor paid $18.52 a week. That's about 48 cents an hour. And I worked at that. I worked in the shop, you know. I would clean the steel chips out of the lathe pan, you know. And I would clean the bathroom and all that, sweep the floor and all that.
Right.
So I did that for 3 or 4 years, I reckon.
And
Then I got a break.
they moved you up.
Yeah. See, you know, one time you had to get to be a machinist. You had to have a 4-year apprentice.
Okay.
But now, well, during the war, like that, I never went and got no apprentice.
They trained you.
But they taught me working with it. I worked with the helpers first, and I worked with the machine. So I had a lot of common sense, I thought. I ain't bragging on myself, but looking back, I think I did.
Well, I know some machinists in my world, and it takes a little something to be able to do all that. There's a couple of things I want to touch on. We're wrapping up here in a little bit. I still got about 15 minutes I want to go. But there's something that, while we're talking about fish, we talked a little bit about herring and about shad. You mentioned to me that your dad, when he was a youngster or a young man, that there were enough sturgeon in this river that he could harpoon a sturgeon.
Yeah, we used to catch sturgeons, yeah.
Here, this far up the river?
Yeah, but it's kind of, you might catch one a season, something like that.
And so when we're talking about the time frame, when he was a young man doing this, would we be talking about 1910, 1915, right?
Yeah, well, he died in 1938, so.
Okay. So maybe even closer to the early 1900s.
Yeah. Of course, I don't, you know, I don't remember nothing until I was maybe 10 years old.
Right.
9 or 10.
Did you ever see sturgeon in the river?
Yeah, I've caught, no, I haven't caught one. Yeah, I've seen them.
When you were young in the 1930s, were there still sturgeon coming up enough to where people were harpooning them?
No.
That had already happened and they had gone away.
Well, no, it wasn't many sturgeons, you know.
Okay.
You might catch one or two a season.
So, at one point in time, they were very thick in the Chesapeake Bay system
Yeah, it could have been.
and thick in the Rappahannock. And in the last couple of years, we've had some returning fish. They're starting to come back to the Rappahannock.
Yeah. Now, they had a real big spur on the back,
Yes.
you know. And they get in a net. It's something to get out, too.
Tear them up. Tear your net up.
Yeah.
But the fishing technique, as you remember it with your dad, was to use a harpoon and actually spear them.
No, I don't know about that.
Oh, because I thought maybe we talked about that you had the harpoon that he had used. Okay. Now.
Now, another thing with bullfrogs.
Oh yeah, and gig
I
of
bet you
bullfrog.
stabbed them.
I got him. I'm a good frogger.
I never stabbed one in my life. This ain't here.
I go grab them.
I caught 4 at a time one time. Must
Yeah.
flashlight in my eye.
Yeah, that's me. I catch them. I walk up on them.
Yeah.
All right, so let me ask you this. One of the things that you like to talk about are steamboats. And you've drawn pictures, and we're going to take a picture of your drawing in a little while. But when you were young, late 20s, early 30s, there were boats coming up the Rappahannock River. And you had steamboats, and you also had sailboats, 2-masted schooners like you drew.
Yeah.
Tell me some of your memories of those things.
Well, the steamboat, I got that wrote down here. Now, the steamboat, they said, went to the city dock, you know.
In Fredericksburg.
That's what they said, but I never seen one of them, and I don't know how one could get turned around. Because steamboats are 176 feet long.
Okay.
And that kind of puzzled me, but I guess they went to the city dock.
And there was a series of wharves down here, right? There were wharves along the river where the steamboat could pull up, let people off, take on cargo.
Oh, yeah, I got all of them wrote down in here.
Where was the nearest wharf to your house?
Greenlaw's Wharf.
Say it again.
Greenlaw's.
Greenlaw's Wharf.
Wharf.
Was it on the north bank, on this side, or on the other side?
Where's that thing that I can show it? Where's the map at?
Oh, the one that you had out earlier.
Yeah.
Let's see. You'll find it. There it is.
Okay. No, I can't do it because it's up. This is off.
Okay.
It's off this map.
Greenlaw's Wharf,
Yeah.
upstream from you?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's no way haul. It's about 2 miles from here. Right?
Got you. Well, what's your earliest memory? Tell me about the first time that you remember seeing a steamboat.
Well, when I was a kid, that was a regular thing once a week.
Once a week, they would come up the river.
Yeah, come from Baltimore. Yeah, from Baltimore. And you could ship a calf or cow on that one. They had a place on there with
For livestock.
fenced off, and yeah.
So the steamboats coming out of Baltimore, I assume, did they come out of Norfolk too? I would think. I don't know.
It's possible, but I got it in here somewhere. My dad put down vessels, or I don't know, barges or something. One of them were going to Wilmington, Delaware.
Wilmington, Delaware. Okay.
Yeah.
But these steamboats, they carried people. They carried produce.
Mm-hmm.
You said about lumber.
No, I don't think steamboats do that.
Okay. The schooners. What carried the lumber and the railroad ties?
Barges.
Barges. Okay.
I got one of them drawing somewhere.
Okay.
But that barges was, I don't know, 150 feet long, I reckon. And them barges, they had no engine on them, no engine.
Okay.
But they had a house on there that people would live on. Maybe a man and his wife, maybe.
Okay.
But they would live on there all the time. And when see that Horsehead Cliffs, that's where they loaded a lot of railroad cars.
Horsehead Cliffs.
Yeah, Horsehead Cliffs.
Okay.
That's just right below Bristol Myers. And you hear of A.W. Embry, first place?
I know the name Embry because of the Embry Mill, the Embry Dam.
I think this guy was a banker.
Okay. Okay.
A lawyer too, maybe, I don't know.
Okay.
But he owned a lot of land. He would have people to cut the railroad ties with.
Railroad ties. What kind of wood was used for a railroad tie?
Oak, I think.
Oak, a good hardwood.
Yeah.
Not a pine.
Maybe white oak at that. I don't know.
Okay.
And, they used to slab them, to take a. They had a thing that looked something like a grub hole. They called it ads.
Right.
ADZ.
Sure. And you could use it to chop, and that would flatten out your.
Yeah, but see, they call it scorn. Like if you had a log here, you chop it here, then you chop it up here, and buckle that off. See?
Okay.
And they keep on going up there.
Gotcha.
And then they have to go back and trim it off them.
With the ads.
Yeah, and we used to burn a lot of, use those things. We go to the sawmill and get a lot of them.
For firewood.
Yeah.
Sure. Good hardwood. Did you ever ride a steamboat?
No, sir.
But you enjoyed them and watching them that you went all the way to Colonial Beach to get to see one come in, but you never got to take a ride.
Mm-mm. They didn't know I was that already.
I can't help but picture in my mind, I have this image. It looks like Huck Finn and Tom Sawyer. Like you and your buddies standing on the side of the Rappahannock watching these boats going by, wondering where they're going. And
I don't guess you've ever seen a steamboat, have you?
I've seen pictures, yes, sir, but I'm not intimately familiar. But in some of our videos and the movie that we made, there's some stuff about steamboats. But if you got a picture, show me a picture.
Yeah, I think I got one. That's where my family had my mother's funeral.
Are you in this photo?
Yeah, right in the middle. Bald head one. I got bald head.
That is you.
Yeah, the tallest one there.
We'll take a picture of this in a moment.
Yes.
And when is this? Was at your mother's funeral?
Yeah, it was 1946.
Okay. Yeah, we'll take a picture of
What do you
that.
think about my mind? How it's working pretty good?
What do I think of your mind? All right, let's see. You're 97 years old trying to tell me about things that happened in 1930, okay? I think your mind's doing pretty good, Mr.
I
Pitts.
can remember back 85 years, better than I can in the next 5 minutes.
So a lot of people tell me that. My grandfather told me that as he got older. He said, I can remember things when I was a kid, but I can't remember what I ate for breakfast last week.
I can be talking to somebody,
Yeah.
and the name I can't come up with, I drop it right off.
Let me ask you a couple of things as we wrap up, okay? The Rappahannock River, you lived along it your whole life.
Well, not my whole life, but I lived there until 1938.
Right, that was down at the Bristol Mine Farm.
Right.
But even here, you're not far from the river.
No, well, I still fished from here,
Tell me.
I fished from Wilmot. I didn't fish that. You could at Steep Hill. You couldn't get to the boat.
Steep Hill couldn't get to the boat.
Yeah.
Got you, okay.
Well, not convenient.
Right.
And, of course, somebody else, that place been sold 3 times, I think.
What does the Rappahannock River mean to you? I mean, I'm from Friends of the Rappahannock. We work hard to protect the river. We do advocacy work. We're trying to clean the water, restore the grasses and the shellfish. Tell me what the river means to you.
I truly believe that we'd have been hungry if it hadn't been for the Rappahannock River.
You'd have gone hungry. Okay. Okay.
We ate
You've described that.
We ate a lot of fish.
Sure. And sold them. And made money off of it.
No, for money.
Okay.
I
Okay.
had a lot of fun on.
I love it. Okay.
I tell you, drifting at me is so much fun up there.
Give me, is there a memory? All right, you're out on the boat and it's tide's right and the drift net is set. Tell me about one of them days out on the water.
Oh, doing what?
Just drift netting and doing your fish. Is there any one particular day that comes to mind? You think about a particularly good day. The net was full, and you knew you had plenty of fish.
Yeah. Yeah, I think seeing me one day we caught about 200 fishing the whole day.
Shad or herring?
Sure. Yeah, I didn't follow up with the herring business much,
After you grew up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess when my dad left, that went with him. But something sticking in my mind about bullfrogging.
Tell me.
Myself and another fellow, that fellow was 80 years old already. And he'd fish a drift, he'd paddle the boat through the collards and stuff, you know.
Yes.
And I caught 17 dozen.
17 dozen bullfrogs.
Yeah, that's right. And
Was that along the river, or was that up in the ponds and creeks?
some of them was on the edge of the river, and some of them was up in the, well, mostly in the, where the collards were, you know, cow collards.
Cow collards?
Mm-hmm.
What is a cow collard?
Oh, it's got a big old leaf level like that. The bullfrog sat up on top of it.
Is it what I would call a lily pad?
I guess, yeah, maybe it had a bloom on it. Might be that.
Yellow bloom?
I don't know.
All right, I gotta look up cow collards. All right, because I like to brag to people. I'm a pretty good frogger.
Yeah.
You can catch them with your hand, put the light in their eyes.
Yeah, I put, you know, when they were mating, be two together.
Right,
And at times I put the light in my mouth
right.
and catch both of them, catch 4 frogs at one time.
17
But
dozen frogs.
that didn't happen too often.
I got you. Okay.
I've never, you know, what do you call it,
Gigging.
gigging.
I've never gigged one either.
But if I had a,
What'd you do with your frogs?
We shipped in Baltimore.
Now, come on. Did you eat them? Did you like frog legs?
I ate one. My brother caught somebody one time. He cooked them up, and before we get them done, they was out on the stove almost. Them things keep on jumping like
Yes, sir. That's true. So when you you would send them to Baltimore.
Yeah.
Once again, a little bit of a hustle, a money, make a little money.
Well, they were sell for about maybe $3 a dozen. That's about the top. Anywhere from $2 to $3 a dozen.
Did you have to dress them out?
No.
You could send them whole.
Yeah, he had to be live.
A live frog.
Yeah.
So that's why you didn't gig them.
Yeah.
You got good at grabbing them.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
A live frog. What'd you ship them in?
A box, a wooden box about that long, maybe, that high. You couldn't have it too high, because the frog, if he's got space, he's going to jump and it knocks all the skin off his nose.
Yeah, and tears him up.
Yeah. You ever had them things that you get them a grass bag, hear them cry, man?
A grass bag and hear them crying?
Yeah.
No, but I've heard them croaking pretty good.
Yeah. But,
Well, listen, I want to wrap this interview up because I try to keep them to about an hour.
yeah.
But I think I'd like to come back and talk to you some more if you would be willing to put up with us.
Yeah, well, you know, if you want to stay long, feel welcome.
Well, I want to wrap up the video, then I want to shoot a couple more pictures, okay? I want to take a couple of pictures of the boats that you've drawn and things like that. But then to keep this thing kind of organized, we'll stop the video today and then have a follow-up session, okay? See, I'll try to get back down here.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you very much
All right.
for...
You still got it on? Or?
Yes, sir, it's on.
Well, if you don't want to.
I'm gonna shoot. I want to take some pictures of that with the camera.
Yeah, okay.
But I want to thank you very much for letting us come down here.
Okay.
And we'll wrap up the video and then take a couple pictures, okay?
Yeah. Now the last, I got here somewhere, but I don't know exactly where to find it, but the last trip that the steamboat made from Fredericksburg was 1932. September 23rd, I believe it was.
September 23, 1932, the
was the
steamboat left Fredericksburg,
Yeah, that's the last trip.
coming down from Fredericksburg.
Yeah, right.
Did you see it on that trip?
I don't know.
But you found that in your research.
Yeah, my dad had his,
1932.
he recorded a lot of things, even snowfalls.
Was he interested in that kind of stuff?
Huh?
He was interested in steamboats and things like that too?
Well, I guess so, yeah, you know. Yeah, water, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I got you. All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Pitts. We're going to shut this thing down and we're going to take some more pictures, okay?
Okay.
Thank you for having us.
All right.